appliances to outdoor furniture and unique antiques, their expert team removes years of rust and weathering, then finishes each piece with a lasting powder coat. Trusted by industries across the region, now local homeowners and businesses can experience the same professional care. Visit KaiserBlasting.com or call 402-421-3559 to request your quote. Restore, protect, and make your metal shine like never before with the help of Kaiser Blasting and Coatings.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio in the heart of Lincoln, America. Youth Football 101. Get a peek into the world of youth football in the state of Nebraska with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves 7-on-7 Youth Football. This is Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That is right. Youth Football 101. We are live from the Lincoln Youth Football Fields right here, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert coming at you on a Sunday afternoon, a beautiful Sunday afternoon, 75 degrees out here in early September. Can't ask for a better football weekend. Had some really good high school games on Friday night. Had a really impressive and exciting performance on the Huskers, or with the Huskers on Saturday, and now expecting and seeing more of the same here at the Lincoln Youth Football Fields on a Sunday afternoon. Now today, we're joined with a special guest. We have Dr. Lawrence Chatters with us here at Lincoln Youth Football. And before we bring him in, we're going to talk a lot about the youth sports side of things, his involvement, his opinions, his feelings with the youth sports scene in and around the state of Nebraska, really. Throughout the show, we'll talk NFL football as week 1, officially the big day, kicks off today. We'll talk Husker volleyball because the Huskers played today down at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, as well as Husker football last night, high school football coverage on Friday. Talk about a couple of the teams and some exciting performances from around the state. Millard South continue to show their star power as well on Friday night against Millard West. We have so much to get into, but with that, let's bring in the doctor, Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Great to do this. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
It's going to be a really fun day.
Hey, it's really awesome to be here. What I can tell you is that I'm not sure the weather gets any more beautiful than this. It's 75 degrees. The wind is blowing. I don't see a cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
Folks, just to describe the environment to you here, there's so many people here. There's so much energy out here right now. And what I can tell you is that I know, as being a parent who had 2 daughters that went through athletics from a very young age all the way through high school, is that this is good quality time spent with the kids. This is good quality time spent building up their confidence and their self-esteem, getting to know the other parents of the other kids.
Yeah.
And having your kid in an organized sport and in organized athletics from a young age is one of the indicators of future success. I can tell you that.
We're going to dive into the nitty-gritty part of that, but I kind of just walk us through, because I've said it multiple times throughout the last year or so that we've been broadcasting live out here on Sundays.
Yes.
When the weather's at least, working with us, which it is today. But when you drive up on South Street and out of nowhere, there's like 4 parking lots that are all jam-packed with cars. You get a realization of, okay, this is a pretty big deal, and it's continuing to grow.
It is continuing to grow, and that's the thing, is that there's a good positive energy around the importance of organized sport right now, not only here in Nebraska, but across the country. And I'm telling you, I've never really even been to this part of Lincoln.
Yeah.
Because I just, I used to live in Lincoln for about 16 years, never came out to this area. But as I got off of 77 and came in this direction, what was clear to me as I drove up is that you see all the cars just kind of down the parking lot. I could not find a parking space. I felt like I was at a Husker football game on a Saturday. But this is youth sports in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's amazing to see all these people out here. You can't possibly imagine all the good positive energy that's out here right now. People cheering. There's some great smells in the air. There's some food out here, some concessions. Lots of great things going on.
And I'm telling you, Dr. Chatters, if you have not had the cheeseburger out here yet, that's delicious. They have the walking talkie, they have barbecue pork tacos. I mean, it's incredible out here. And this is where I urge listeners, even if you don't have a kid or a child playing youth football, it doesn't mean you can't come out here, right?
That's right.
It's affordable to get in. It's affordable to see. Come on out here, grab a lawn chair, bring a lawn chair, and just set up shop right next to the field on the sidelines, and you're going to be able to watch football the entire day.
Listen, I know there's a lot of folks from outside of Nebraska that wonder what there is to do in Nebraska. Every time I go somewhere and I tell people, I go to D.C. quite a bit, and they say, what is there to do in Nebraska?
Sure.
And we're always looking for something to do. And I can tell you, as I got older and, my daughters are kind of moving on to college and everything, my wife and I are always looking for something fun to do, something entertaining. And there's nothing more entertaining than being out here watching young people find themselves on these football fields and figure out what it means to be a part of a team. It's great to see that. It's great to see the coach, see the teamwork. More than ever, we need to see teamwork right now in our country. And I think it's beautiful to see these young people in every grade. We have 8th grade all the way down to 4th.
Yeah.
So, there's just so many great opportunities to see the energy to participate. Again, it's great to have a horse in the race, but at the same time, if you don't, you're seeing a lot of great sportsmanship out here. It's pretty amazing.
And I think, once again, one of the biggest ways, and I've talked to a lot of the commissioners of Lincoln Youth Football, Jim Sandman and Mike Selvage and those guys, and we can't thank them enough for their willingness week in and week out to work with us. But I've talked to them a plethora of times about the best way to grow it is to see it.
That's right.
Right? The best way to grow it is for whether you're a parent, whether you're a guardian, an extended family member, or you have no connection at all. Come on out here, watch a game or 2 or 5.
Yes.
And then guess what? Go talk about it.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the word of mouth advertising, the word of mouth conversations can really grow something like this week in and week out on the shorter scale. But then from the bigger picture, year after year, if you really want it to continue to grow, the positive talk, the positive conversation surrounding it is certainly a great place to start.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, one of the ways that people get involved in the community is by underwriting things, right? You have the opportunity to invest in something.
Yeah.
And when you get the chance to come out here and just pay, I think it's like $5 to get in, and to have access to all of this great talent that you see and connecting with people and everything else. I mean, I'm telling you all, like, I've never been out to this space, but I can tell you this won't be my last time, because I love to be around young people who are growing in their self-development and better understanding the importance of teamwork, demonstrating sportsmanship, showing support for each other. All that's happening out here. And like you said, you got a great burger, you got some pulled pork sandwiches, some walking tacos. I mean, this is a great way to spend your Sundays in the fall as it starts to cool down a little bit.
Well, and then I'll be also honest. I mean, when you look at around and the players on the field, you mentioned like the self-development, and there's so much more than just on the surface with the football field.
That's right.
And the football.
Yes.
And they like, we're watching the 8th graders, the soon-to-be freshmen in high school play a football game right in front of us. They don't even realize or know what's truly happening inside.
That's right.
Inside their minds,
That's
inside
right.
the hearts, right? Like they don't even have a clue. They think, all right, let's just suit up. We'll get there an hour early to warm up, and then let's go play a football game.
Listen, they started thinking about this game earlier this week, right? They've been in practices. They've been connecting with their peers. They all go to different schools likely, right? I mean, they're bringing together people from different spaces, and they get the opportunity to push themselves and to compete. And I'll tell you, I'm a psychologist, and what I can tell you is that when you are down and when you're struggling, there's nothing like being able to look back in your life and recognize when you were able to do something successful and when you were able to work through an injury, work through resilience, work through standing on the sideline, not getting an opportunity, but cheering on your team. These are all intangibles that these young people are getting from athletics. And so that's so important to point out. But at the same time, what I'll also tell you is that there's parents on the sidelines. They're here supporting their kids. And there's nothing like the opportunity to be able to have your kid come off the field after a game and say, regardless of what they did in that game, hey, it was so beautiful to be here to get the chance to watch you and participate. I know some of my fondest memories were having my parents come to my competitions and watch, and it was just so wholesome that they could be there, because it means that they took time out of their day to be there. And so you can come and show these youth support here by just showing up and just cheering them on, because that's important for them to be able to hear people excited about them pushing themselves.
I always like to remind our listeners, if this is their first Sunday tuning in or not really sure how Lincoln Youth Football works, a lot of these teams, there's multiple teams, multiple sponsored teams by various companies around the city of Lincoln and in the city of Lincoln. And so our friends at Allo sponsor a team, and they are playing directly in front of us. Allo is playing the Junior Bolts, which is sponsored by Sandhills Global and their group of businesses. And so when you look at the greatest thing about Lincoln Youth Football and how it's grown and developed, and I talked to Jim and I talked to Mike so much about this, is creating essentially what they call feeder schools or feeder programs. Which, to where for high school coaches, this is another aspect of it, Dr. Chatters, where you can high school coaches can come on out here, and they do, and there's a lot of high school coaches that do it better than others, and where they'll get to watch the 8th graders that they're going to have in their program and part of their high school next year. Because the kids that played on Allo, more than half of them, or the majority of them, are going to go to this high school, and the majority of kids that are playing on the Junior Bolts program are going to go to Pius. And so you have an idea, excuse me, to where it's not just these guys, these 8th graders going to be freshmen, when everything around them, there's so much going on. One area that maybe they can become more comfortable in is the athletic side of things. So where it's not the first time seeing a coach. It's not the first time meeting a coach. A simple hello, hey, I'm Coach so-and-so. I'm a coach. I'm an offensive coordinator at this high school. That instant connection can go such a far ways for some of these guys that are going to go into their freshman year of high school.
Absolutely. And, that relationship that a young person has with a coach, a person who they might even consider to be a mentor or someone who's very supportive, is so incredibly important. And, it's a two-way street. Coaches are out here looking at students, and students are looking at coaches too, right? And I think that one of the things that parents have to understand about this process is that this is the opportunity for your son to truly experience what it's like to be put into tough situations and see the things that are happening around them and demonstrate their good character, right? And that character is a major component of what's going to make a coach want to have your young person on their team. How does that young person react when something doesn't go well? And how does the parents react, right, when something doesn't go well? And we'll get a little bit deeper into that, right?
100%.
But I mean, this is where character is built. It's right here on these fields where there's challenges. People are tested. People are, put into situations that might not be as comfortable for them. How do you react? How do you respond?
And I think it's very important that coaches are willing and able to adapt as well.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the times have changed in the last 15 years. The times have changed from, last season even.
Yes.
And they're going to continue to evolve as we go forward in the youth sports and as Lincoln Youth Football grows, as the Lincoln high school scene gets more competitive and gets just better overall. The coaches have to be willing to change and adapt and learn.
That's right. That's right. Big changes are coming there. And when you think about that all the way through the college side of things, you recognize how much power athletes are having going into school now comparative to what they had in the past, right? And you're talking about the revenue share. You're talking about this idea that you are truly investing in this young person.
Yeah.
That person's also investing in you as a program. And so that relationship is incredibly important. And I think just being able to have open lines of communication, lots of positivity. I'm a big positive psychology guy, so I'll kind of harp on that. But I hear what you're saying, too, with the adaptability of the coaches and having some flexibility in mind where they can adapt to the different young people that they have to deal with and train.
Once again, 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. They're open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961. We are live on there. There's NFL action going on our FM dial, but that means if you've heard us, you're either listening to us on the mobile app, on the website, or on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. So good stuff there, as it's an exciting weekend of football action, exciting weekend as fall sports are in full swing. We see, obviously, coming up, football season started at the high school level. Volleyball season is about to begin. There is so much going on that it's important as well in the youth sports side. And we'll dive into it, as we said, kind of into the nitty gritty in the next segment, because I don't want to go too long here, but it's important for all parties involved, whether that's the player, coaches, or parents or guardians, to make sure that priorities are in order.
Absolutely. And to be honest, when I think about priorities, first and foremost, I think about being able to build a confidence and make sure that the young person feels safe and appreciated and heard. I also think about the priority of academics, right? When we talk about this hierarchy of things, these are students first. They're students first, and then they're athletes, right? At one day, you'll put away your cleats or your tennis shoes or whatever the case might be. You always have to have your education. Yeah. And so we talk about those priorities, and I do want parents to be considering that athletics can be one of those carrots that helps a young person do better in their academics, right? Yeah. And it can also be something that helps them build confidence. And as we talk about these seasons getting started, and you think about how much time and effort they have to put into their craft while they're also going to school, that creates some additional challenge and barriers there that when you get to college, the same thing happens, right? You've got a job, you're working, you're trying to do school, you've got other things happening. So it's just, youth athletics provide so many opportunities for these young people to learn, but you're right. Priorities first.
Well, and priorities first, and in a world where social media has kind of taken over, and there's so much going on to where, like, this is for eighth graders that we're watching directly in front of us. Yeah, they're about to go through a very crucial and tumultuous at times time in their life. Yes, to where it's sometimes difficult for, number one, them as a 14, 15, 16-year-old to remember, okay, what is priority number one? Is it, and to speak to athletics specifically, is it winning, or is it getting the development, the coaching, the life skills? Right. What is priority number one as a 13, 14, 15-year-old?
That's right. And there's a lot of things on these young people's minds, you guys. And that's one thing I want to highlight here is that despite what you see and despite what you hear or don't hear from your young person, there's so much going on around them at all times. And our young people nowadays are exposed to so many things, whether it be through social media, other platforms that impact them and have a mental health impact on them, that you have to talk to your kids. You have to ask them, what are you being exposed to? Yeah. What's important to you? What's important to you that I know as a parent, right? And these conversations that we're not really used to having, because I know from my generation, my parents didn't ask me how I was feeling very often, right? It just wasn't a thing that they did. Sure. But nowadays, you have to understand, there's so many different things that are impacting these young people on a daily basis that they see, that they post, and oftentimes we don't maybe access to some of their social media stuff that they're watching. And sometimes those priorities really get messed up because, something happened and they don't tell you about it, and you need to find out more information, or they're feeling a certain way on their team and you need more information about that. They could be going down a rabbit hole online with some negative stuff. So be willing to have those conversations, because you don't know those priorities if you don't talk to them.
And there's so many different things, right? To where starting age, I mean, you can start super young whenever you get a cell phone, if you will. But like, let's just for conversation's sake, age 12 to 24. And the reason I say that is because we understand how important mental health is in sports now.
Absolutely.
And just some news was made over this last week in the college volleyball world, where the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year for Penn State, Izzy Stark, decided to say, hey, you know what? I'm sitting out this year. She was just at Big Ten Media Days. We just had an interview with her in July in Chicago at Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. And talking to her at the podium and asking her questions, I would have never, ever recognized or realized, or nobody would have ever thought for a moment that she was going through something, because she framed it she framed the season, she framed last year, the offseason, her teammates in such a positive light. And it goes to show that without conversation, you have no clue what's going on in somebody's life.
That's right. And just imagine the pressure that a young woman like that is experiencing as she gets closer to the season and has these things going on. This internal conflict that's probably happening for her, where she's just having to decide, can I do it again?
Yeah.
Can I put all this stuff that's internal off to do all this external stuff? Can I make it to all the practices? Can I still do well in school? Imagine the pressure on that young woman. And what I want you all to understand is that pressure is perceived. Pressure is perceived. So when you think about, this young person out here on this field in front of us, and they have a parent who really wants them to perform and do well, because that parent's hopes and dreams are tied up in that young person's potential of doing well, right? And then they're out there and they're trying to do their best and things aren't working well. And you come off that field as a young person and you see your parent and they don't have a great look on their face because they're caught up in it as well. That is pressure, you all. And we have to think about how important is a game? How important is a season comparative to the mental health and the positive ability for a young person to develop? And Izzy made the decision. She chose herself over the sport. And you know what? There's other people who have done that previously from a mental health perspective in pro sports who have given an example of, this is what you should do. And this is where maybe you need to take that decision and make it one that people understand that it's okay to make that choice. That wasn't always the way that things went.
And it just takes a couple of notable big-time athletes to show everybody else.
That's
right.
right.
Say, hey, this can be normal.
That's right.
It just takes time to normalize things.
Absolutely.
I think. All right, let's put a pin there, because I think the pressure side of it's a good place to start our next segment. We're going to dive into the deep details here. Parents, guardians, coaches in youth sports, also teammates, right? Because there's so much made about parents in youth sports and the support system around them. But what about how to deal with teammates that maybe don't agree with something that your child or your athlete is going through or working through?
Right.
Issues within teams. Should you bail and join a new team, or should you stick it out? Those types of conversations are kind of what we're going to have in a deep dive sense over the next 35, 45 minutes or so. We're going to be here till 3 o'clock. Dr. Chatters, I told him, you stay as long as you want. This is going to be a great time. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon for football.
Yes.
Youth football fields, we're hanging out. We got the A, B, C, D, all the teams playing. Right now, Allo and the Junior Bolts are playing on the 8th grade field directly in front of us. I always joke about it with whoever I sit down with, whether it's a coach, Jim Sandman, Mike Selvage, whoever it is. I say, man, it's sometimes hard to stay focused because you got a football game going on.
That's right.
20 yards in front of you. And here's the thing. In warm-ups before we went on the air, it was funny. They were practicing field goals, and we had about 3 footballs that hit our tent that's covering us.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, man, I could be making some plays out here on camera.
That's right.
But they put up the tent, which they're so kind to do so to get us out of the sun. So once again, 402-464-5685. If you have any texts, questions, thoughts from our conversations today, make sure you text those in, and we'll read them off. And if you have any questions for the psychologist, Dr. Lawrence Chatters, make sure you let him know. And that's what he's here for, to talk us through these conversations that can sometimes be difficult or not talked about enough as well. So this is Youth Football 101, powered by our friends at Edward Stone. Nick Sainert, Dr. Lawrence Chatters, Harrison Arns back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor, and we want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says, it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in Lincoln Youth Football Fields as the aroma of the grill wafts our way. Dr. Lawrence Chatters, Nick Sainer alongside Dr. Chatters here. Youth Football 101 brought to you by our friends at Edwards Stone. Beautiful Sunday afternoon for football as we've turned the page away from Husker athletics and now moving towards the youth football side of things. We'll dissect some high school football games later in the 2 o'clock hour as we'll recap the two games that we had on 93.7 The Ticket on Friday, one between North Platte and Lincoln East, and then the nightcap between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln Southwest. But we were talking the youth sports from a psychology standpoint, the mental health side of things.
Yes.
And you brought up a buzzword in pressure.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pressure, maybe not as much at the youth sports level, but as these players and athletes transition to high school and then to college for some of them, for a percentage of them, the pressure continues to build.
It does.
And even at this level, parents, coaches, other teammates, the outside world can apply a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. And what I want folks to think back to is, because I don't think we really truly understand how long it takes for these certain aspects to develop over the course of a young person's life. But what I want you to think about is think back to every time you left the field or the court or the pool or wherever you were competing. I want you to think about what reaction you got from the people who love you, right? And I want you to think about how that eventually became something that was not external but internal, right? And how that continued to grow over the course of your life and how that had an impact. And when you think about that reaction that those people who love you had to your performance, you can look back to how that process was built in your mind and how we then already expect, because as humans, we love to learn and our brains love to be able to make a decision before something happens because we like that predictability as human beings, right? There was a time that our animal brain had to make a decision on whether or not we should run from that scream or not, right?
Yeah.
So we get to a point where we become accustomed. So if I didn't perform well when I was growing up and I came off of the court, what I knew about my dad is that he was still going to love me and still going to say, great job. It's okay that you missed that shot. You'll do better next time. And he did that consistently. My dad had the same reaction every time I came off the court. I don't care if it was a big win or if it was a loss. My dad would always have that same reaction, which is he kept his emotions at bay so that it didn't wear off on me. Because eventually what happens is if your parents have a negative reaction every time that you do really bad and a really positive reaction every time that you do good, that's where that pressure starts to develop, right? So this is what I want parents to understand. I want you to, if you can, try to detach your feelings and all of your ego from what's happening out on that field. Because you know what? The only control you have over that is the ability that you have to support your child.
That's a fascinating way to kind of sum up that point, because the coaches are in place for a reason. And that's been a big conversation through Lincoln Youth Football that I've had, and I know they've had internally, to where it's there's nothing against coaches who volunteer, right? And coaches that are, hey, we need somebody to lead the team. We need somebody to coach the team. And that the prototypical dad stands up and goes, okay, yeah, I have Tuesday nights free. We can do an hour practice.
That's right.
Things like that.
Yes.
There's something pure about that as well, to where you're like, okay, yeah, like youth sports needs that at its core.
Absolutely.
But then also when you get out to a competitive sense, there's a reason that these coaches are in place.
Yes.
And the same on a much more intimate level, the same way we talk about with Husker football or Husker basketball, where fans and the other people around them have to let the coaches do their job.
That's right.
Especially more so than ever in youth sports, you have to allow the coaches to do their job.
Absolutely. And the reason that's so important, you all, is because the coach is the one who understands the big picture. The coach is the one who understands your young person's talents and their ability to impact the team.
Yep.
The coach understands how all those pieces fit together. All we see and all we are really there for the most part, is we're seeing our young person, right? We see how they fit into the big picture, and we always want them to have a really positive experience. And so, I can understand that parents get really caught up in that, and they wonder, why is my son not starting? He's better than that other kiddo. Yeah, there might be some dynamics, right? The coach is the one who is there during practice. They're there during all the struggles. They see your kid rise and fall, and they understand all the dynamics and how the big picture fits together. All we're focused on, if you think about a Monet is made up of thousands of dots. If you just focus on that dot, you have no idea that it's a beautiful picture, right? You just see a dot. So I want parents to kind of zoom out a little bit. And again, what you're there for, honestly, is just to support your young person. When they come off that field, win, lose, or draw, you need to let them know you are still loved unconditionally, and I care about you, and I care about all the wonderful things you're getting from this experience. And if the things that they're getting from that experience is an angry parent when they come off that field, that's not a positive experience, right?
I think even more so, one of the easiest things that parents can do, and if you look around, there's so many of them, because let's start here. I'm going to stop myself before I go too far, to where I say there's a lot of really good supporters and a lot of really good parents. And unfortunately, there's a stereotype out there that there's more bad than good.
That's right.
But because of a couple of bad seeds, if you will, it ruins the whole garden, right?
It
so
does.
like ultimately, I don't want to bury the lead and say and come across as like, man, everybody here has issues, right? Because that's not true. There's a lot of really, really good parents and supporters.
There are, absolutely. And I celebrate those parents and supporters who come out and just want to be there to make sure that their young person knows that they are there for them. And I'll tell you, I will guarantee you that a lot of those kids whose parents are extremely supportive and positive and always there to catch them when they fall, those young people are more likely to stay in the sport longer. And they're more likely to be successful because, again, what we know from a psychological perspective is that there's some core things that young people need to succeed. One of those things is love, right? One of those things is security. And then they also need to understand that they can get better at something. And so I think as we allow that opportunity for them to feel loved, supported, and safe, and then we continue to make sure that they know you can get better at this and they can grow from their experiences and even the mistakes that they make, now all of a sudden you're starting to see everything string together, and you've got a young person who loves to go out there and compete regardless of how hard it is.
On the surface, everything we're kind of talking about, even if you are not a parent that is saying, okay, I want to sit down with my sixth grader and have this intimate conversation, which that's a positive way to do it. But also just show up.
Exactly.
Right? Like
that's right.
Everything we're talking about can be encapsulated in a very, to be fair, surface level act.
Absolutely.
Just show up.
Just show up. Just be there. And, I know for some parents that's very difficult because they have to work and they've got stuff going on. They're trying to make ends meet. But I think to show up and actually be a part of the experience for your young person. And honestly, this is one of the other things that was really important in my family. We wanted to make sure that our other daughter came to the competitions to support her sister.
Nice.
And, what's important about that is just, they were both competing, but we wanted to make sure that every now and then the other sister would show up because as parents, sometimes, things can be a little lopsided, know, and to have that sibling show up as well. Not only was my older daughter in a position where she could role model for my youngest daughter what it was to be a great athlete, but, she was demonstrating her ability to grow and develop and everything else. My younger daughter saw that, and so she's excelled in athletics as well.
Oh, there's a lot more we can get into. Let's stay right here for a moment, though, to where how do parents navigate that? What's your advice to parents or guardians where, let's say they have multiple kids and they're all in youth sports?
That's right.
And we know that it can be on a Tuesday night. The oldest can be practicing, the middle can have a game, and the youngest could have practice.
That's right.
How do you navigate it to where you show up? I know some, it's like, for me growing up, and I grew up thankfully with an incredible support system.
Excellent.
With my parents and my mom and dad balanced multiple of my siblings in sports and
figure
that out. It was pretty consistent to where, okay, if my parents couldn't be there, they had somebody that was able to take me consistently, right? Like there was always somebody that was there, and I knew, okay, this is the role that they're playing in without even knowing it at the time.
Right.
But what's your advice? Because it is hard to balance.
It
Life
is
incredibly hard to balance.
It is, and sometimes it's impossible, right? But what I would say is just be intentional about how you talk to your child when they do get home from their competition, and be aware if there's challenges that they're having in that space,
Sure.
right? And if you can only make it to this, this game or that game once a week, try to create some balance, because clearly there's going to be some opportunities that we might be a little more interested in participating in. I'll give you an example for my daughters. I really loved going to the tennis matches, but I wasn't as excited to go to the golf matches,
Sure.
And so, but I tried to create some balance there. We showed up every now and then at the golf course and watched my daughter. And we love going to track meets too, which my youngest daughter does. But you have to demonstrate some balance there. And I think as you can, if nothing else, talk to your young person when they get home about what was your experience like today, and show some interest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so amazing when you get home and you're struggling, you had a tough time, if somebody asks you the right question at the right time. Parents,
Absolutely.
it's so important to be able to ask the right question at the right time. And when your young person comes home and they're struggling and they had some challenging thing that happened, and you say, hey, how did things go today? And they break down and they open up to you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how perfectly placed was that you asked the right question at the right time, and you were there to demonstrate to them, I care. I'm going to be intentional because I'm going to support you through this. And regardless of how you perform today, you are still loved here. And that's important.
It's such a cool spectacle, because like I catch myself looking around. And we see it. So halftime is going on at the game in front of us, and you have guys playing catch on the sideline. Like that's just pure. These are memories that they will say, okay, I was talking to Tavion Thompson 2 weeks ago out here, who played football for Nebraska, graduated from Lincoln Southeast, and played youth football. And he talks about it. He's like, I remember playing catch on the sidelines of my brother's games. I remember playing catch, warming up for games on these very same fields. Like, they're creating memories right now in a very pure sense.
That's right.
That they don't think about, okay, when I'm 20, I'm going to be thinking about
That's
this.
right.
When I'm 23, I'm going to look back and go, yeah, you know what? Those were the really fun days, and I'm glad we were able to do that. There's a lot of really cool moments just looking around here on just a random Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
And saying, okay, there's a lot of really good things about youth sports here in the capital city. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we will wrap up the 1 o'clock hour. There's a lot more that we can get into with Dr. Lawrence Shatters, Nick Sainert also here. Rudy is back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios, pushing all the buttons, making sure we stay connected. Once again, 402-464-5685. The Starter Heyman text line is wide open for you. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, opinions, just anything, even if it's questions about how do I get to the Lincoln Youth Football Fields, we'll let you know. We'll send you directions. We will take care of all that when we come back to close out the 1 o'clock hour. Remember, tune into us, Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable TV channel 961. Let's step aside. Youth Football 101 presented by Edward Stone returns right after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts have been an entrusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrollout.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Rollouts, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Bring new life to metal treasures with Kaiser Blasting and Coatings. From railings and fences to outdoor furniture and unique antiques, their expert team removes years of rust and weathering, then finishes each piece with a lasting powder coat. Trusted by industries across the region, now local homeowners and businesses can experience the same professional care. Visit KaiserBlasting.com or call 402-421-3559 to request your quote. Restore, protect, and make your metal shine like never before with the help of Kaiser Blasting and Coatings.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Lincoln Youth Football Fields, Youth Football 101. We are live and kicking and running until 3 p.m. here as Dr. Chatters got pulled away. He's just a very popular guy. That's all right. It's a very short segment until we cross over into the 2 o'clock hour. Got pulled away. Very popular guy out here. You walk into a room and everybody knows you. No. Anyway, once again, 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline, the starter Hammond text line open for you as we are watching Allo face off against the Junior Bolts. Junior Bolts in year one of being a program or a team out here.
Yeah.
And so Lincoln Youth Football continues to grow as they continue to try to, let's call it what it is, catch up to Omaha. Omaha has been able to have these feeder programs for the last decade plus, and that's why Omaha has been able to be successful on the high school level.
Yes.
Is because they've just had a better system with the youth side of things over the last decade. And I talked to Jim and I talked to Mike, and they are very forthcoming with their feelings, their thoughts about it, and they just really try to focus on themselves, obviously, and I think that's what you have to do, Dr. Chatters. But then also at the end of the day, understand that it takes time. If
It
you want
does.
to build it and build it to last and build it to be stable,
Yep.
it takes time.
Absolutely. And time, especially when you're talking about the game of football, is what it takes. It takes you understanding and getting rep after rep after rep. It actually takes 10 years to become a master at something, doing it fairly consistently. It takes 10 years. So if you were to think about it from 4th grade all the way through your sophomore year of college, that's where you should be kind of getting to that mastery level, right? And
that's crazy to think about.
It is. But again, what I'd tell you is that what you'll see with a lot of the folks that end up getting into the NFL, they started at a very early age and they were kind of put through the paces of understanding how the game works. And I always kind of wondered that myself, because I think football can be pretty complicated when it comes to understanding, some of the different schemes and everything else. But when you see someone start in 4th grade and they do it consistently, then you kind of have a better understanding of how you understand how things are supposed to work.
It's truly fascinating, because to think about that, there's, in this day and age, there's this feeling that we sometimes get if you're an athlete, to where at times you can get, I've arrived.
Yes.
I'm getting this praise on social media. I'm getting these interviews on ESPN. I'm getting all this recognition, and now money, right?
That's right.
If you're a college athlete, sometimes even high school athletes through the NIL department.
Yes.
And you can get all of that, not handed, but given to you and provided for you, which is a great opportunity.
It is.
I don't want to I'm not trying to get on my soapbox saying NIL's bad and we need to stop this and college football is horrible. No, that's not what I'm getting at all, because I think there is something positive about it.
Right.
But it's easy for some of these guys and some of the athletes, I should say, not just guys and girls, to say, I've arrived.
That's
where
right.
When you just said the statistic of it takes 10 years.
Takes 10 years, yeah. And so for parents, as you think about it, if you're having a young person, they're struggling in that first year of their experience in a sport and everything else, it does take a while, and it takes the repetitions and it takes their understanding of the complications of playing that sport and all the things that come with it. And one of the things from being around, at least Division I coaches that I recognized is just how long they had been doing it. And some of them were athletes themselves, and then they shifted over into coaching. Then they've been coaching for 20 years. They understand nuances of those situations and how to develop a young person that you couldn't possibly imagine. They can see things that we can't see. And what I can tell you about the young people is that, nowadays, and this is kind of something that happened from the American Idol era, where you get instant results and you have these very quick turnarounds and rewards, it does take time. So all the time and effort that I see these young people investing into this sport and their families and everything else, what I've always thought is that that's the return on investment that they get when they do get that NIL deal, where they go to college and now they're getting some share of the revenue. Parents have poured their time and effort and blood and sweat and tears into that athletic experience. And so I think it's great that they can get something back from it now in college, as opposed to this 4-year drought and then you go into the pros, because we know that there's a very small percentage of people that go pro in anything, right? And so, but I do think that it is a return on investment, and that's the way you have to look at it. Like, I'm going to invest in this thing for the next 10 years, and then hopefully you'll see something come back from it.
And this is an important, speaking of investment, it doesn't have to be financial.
That's exactly right.
I think that's something I'm very passionate about, to where you don't have to provide the best equipment or I'm a baseball guy growing up, and that's what I played the entire time growing up through my life. And my parents never provided me the most expensive bat or the best glove or the best helmet or the best batting gloves. It was like, no, this is what you're going to get. And,
right.
and if you make it to a certain point, then you'll get rewarded with better equipment, right?
Yes.
Like, show us the investment on your part as an athlete. And then guess what? Then it's your return on investment is going to be better equipment, or I guess more expensive equipment.
Right.
But I think it's always somewhat not comical, but just kind of interesting to see. Investment doesn't always mean financially.
That's right. That's right. And the major investment that a lot of these young people are putting in is time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Time and effort, and all of the different intangibles that come from participating in sport. There's a great quote from Arthur Ashe. He says, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, right? I love that quote because that puts people in a position where they understand that you could come from anywhere, but it doesn't matter where you came from. It matters where you end up, right? And the experience and the journey of what that looks like. And I think that, when I was growing up, and again, dealing with some of the challenges of just the financial difficulties of the family and not having access to certain things, you feel that way a little bit. You feel like if I only had a better X, Y, or Z, maybe I'd be better, right? But it's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog, right? And I think that a lot of the young people who have the opportunity to be a part of these things, and that's where we also need to make sure that parents understand the importance of, not putting your young person in a position where, they're shaming anyone else for not having certain equipment, right?
Exactly.
Or, because I know when we first got into the golf industry and side of things with our daughters, they never were going to have the most expensive. They weren't going to have these Callaway, this, that, or the other, right?
No custom irons?
No custom iron. Listen, when I even heard about that process, my mind was blown. I thought, well, why would you spend like $250 just to get them fitted? I need to put that into the clubs. Right? So there's
I can buy 2 more clubs with that.
Exactly. So there's all these people who, again, there's just a difference, and there's different separations and opportunities that people have financially. But that's one of the things that I hope parents can recognize as well, is just not making your kids, putting your kids in a situation where they feel like, gosh, I don't have this, and that's why I can't be successful. Right?
There's so much more we can get into, and we're going to in the top of the hour. 2:00 hour is just moments away. We're going to dive into talking about, okay, you get labeled as soft if you quit, or you get labeled as a quitter if you decide to move on from a team. And there's so much to it. That's the surface level of like, okay, I either play or I quit. Yeah. There's a lot of as we kind of maneuver through youth sports, it's, should I leave this team? Should I join this other team because they win more? Should I join this team because they win more, but I still like my coach on this team? Like, right. where that's when we talked about priorities earlier, we could have kind of went off into that direction, but we didn't, and I'm fine with that. But I do want to talk about that of when is it time to say, okay, no, toughen it out, stick it out, keep working. This is for the betterment of yourself.
Yep.
But then it's, okay, truly, if you don't enjoy it, it's time to maybe find another passion. So I want to dive into that with Dr. Chatters here in the 2:00 hour for the next 30 minutes or so. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys. Youth Football 101, it's powered by our friends at Edward Stone. The other really cool thing about this, Dr. Chatters, out here is that a lot of Husker athletes make themselves available for Lincoln Youth Football. We saw high school coaches. Lincoln Northwest is out here.
Yeah.
Former Husker players like Tavion Thompson are actually coaching teams out here.
I see.
Jim was just telling me that Emmett Johnson and Tyler Kanak are in a pen pal program with one of their teams and one of their coaches. And so they come out here on a weekly, or try to be out here on a weekly basis. So there's a lot of community involvement across all levels, whether it's youth, high school, or even college athletes and coaches there that are making their way out. Before Tony White got the job down at Florida State, his son was down here. He played for a team, and so Tony White would be here every single Sunday last summer, and would be cheering on his son the morning, the afternoon after Nebraska football played a game. So things like that are really cool to see, and it speaks to the waves that Lincoln Youth Football is making in the community. So let's talk about that when we come back. 2:00 hour. A fast-moving first hour has already gone by. Youth Football 101, powered by our friends at Edward Stone. We'll be right back.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor. We want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to SmokingGunJerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour number 2, only about less than an hour left in today's show. If you can believe it or not, been flying on by with Nick Sainert alongside Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Dr. Chatters will actually be having a show following us starting today from 3 to 5 p.m. every Sunday afternoon right here on 93.7 The Ticket. He's had it on Saturdays, now just going to be pivoting it to Sundays, the Law of Lift. Yeah, the Law of Lift.
It's a great opportunity to, hear inspirational stories as a as a counseling psychologist, what I can tell you is that I've learned a lot from not only my clients over the years, but just watching people deal with situations where they've demonstrated resilience and watched people become successful, highly successful. And I'm just absolutely inspired by those stories. And so what I wanted to do was create a space where people could share those stories, and I could share those stories through interviewing people on the air. And I really appreciate the opportunity to tell those stories. It's a 2-hour show. And so we really do get deep into these people's lives and talk about from the very beginning of their journeys. And oftentimes there are some kind of athletic intersections that they talk about, and how athletics helped them figure out how they were going to be able to navigate through some of the challenges that they were experiencing in their lives. So
I think this is going to be a really important segment here. 402-464-5685. I say that number if you want to text in your thoughts, your questions for Dr. Chatters throughout this next half hour or so. I encourage you to do so. Let's dive into kind of we talked earlier about priorities, and I think this is another angle or direction we can take it to, where you get labeled in today's world as soft or quitter or cop out if you decide to move on and not play sports anymore, or if you play. In this day and age, kids might come to you, and this goes back to the conversations that we had about parents just talking to your child.
Yes.
Of where, hey, you know what, Mom, Dad, I don't know if I want to play anymore. How do you navigate? Let's start there. How do you navigate that conversation? Is it one that you need to have at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, after the season, all three of those? How do you navigate that as a parent?
That's a great question. And I think that, one of the things I talked about earlier really helps to further define and, in a way, develop for parents, as I'm going to explain this, kind of where that sentiment that they're having when their child comes to them and says that comes from, right? So first and foremost, how much are our egos as parents tied up in whether or not our young person is participating in that sport? And you ask yourself that question. So when a young person comes to you and says, hey, I'm interested in moving on from this sport, or I don't love it anymore, you have to ask yourself first, are you speaking for yourself when you talk to your child, or are you actually interested in whether or not they're interested in the decision that they'd like to make? So that's where you start. You start with, how much is my ego as a former X, Y, or Z that did this and did it at a high level, or didn't do it at a high level, but want my kid to do it at a high level, or, hey, they don't understand how great it is that they have this opportunity and I never had it, right? That kind of defines how you feel ego-wise about your child participating. So when you kind of get through that piece of things and you can detach yourself and your ego from their decision, then you can ask them the question. And there's some pretty serious questions you need to ask. The first question is, are there more bad days than good? Right? And I want you to think about that for any of us. When we find ourselves in a challenging situation and we have to ask ourselves the question, are there more bad days than there are good? If there's more bad days than there are good, then that means that it's not good, right? So that's one of the questions you need to ask yourself. The second question is, if you made this decision and you looked back a year from now, do you think you might regret it? Right? If you made this decision today and you look back a year from now, would you possibly regret making this choice? Right? And so kind of that first question, if there's more bad days than good, then honestly, the answer to that second question might be no. Right? And then another question that I want parents to essentially look at their child and ask them that particular question is just, what are you getting from this experience? Right? What are you getting from this experience? And if your child comes to you and they say, I don't really feel I'm getting anything. I don't look forward to going to practice. I don't look forward to games. I don't feel like the coach appreciates me or likes me. I'm struggling. This has kind of had a negative impact on my schoolwork, right? As we talk about priorities, I'm just not very happy because I have to do this, right? Then you've really answered that question. And I think you really do need to lean into the answers that come in your direction from your child when you're dealing with that, and don't get your ego caught up in it.
I think a lot of it also is understand that your child might be pretty smart, smarter than you realize, or might be more aware than what you realize because of the day and age that we live in now.
Yes.
So where you might sit there and go, they're 12 years old. They might not know what they're actually talking about. They need to toughen it out. They need to stick it out.
Right.
I think a big part for me, even though I don't have kids, but I think a big part as I've been around youth sports, it's like, be passionate about something.
That's right.
Whether that is sports, and as a parent, you might just want to say, I want it to be athletics, right?
Yes.
I played college baseball, I played professional basketball, whatever it is.
That's right.
My kid needs to be. no, number one. Number two, just be passionate about something.
Yes.
There's a difference between quitting something, whether it's a club at school or sports or whatever it might be, to just sit at home and do nothing, right?
That's right. Yep.
But there's also a difference to say, you know what? Hey, I don't want to play baseball anymore because it gives me a chance to maybe do a science project.
That's
or
right.
to work on other things or become a club member.
That's right.
Be passionate about something.
Absolutely. And here's the deal. You can't hold on to something else if you're holding on to something, right? And so for a lot of our parents, I think the fact that, they're so tightly holding on to this dream that their child is going to become a pro and do this and go on and do that. If you're not able to let that go and be open to this idea of other possibilities, first and foremost, you're not letting go of that. And so you're not going to allow your young person to let go of it. And I think sometimes if we're more interested in their participation in something, don't you think things are a little upside down there, right? Like you're not the one out on that field running up and down. You're not the one that
you control.
Exactly, right?
What we just talked about.
So I think that, oftentimes parents, and I know I can kind of think back on, times when, I was participating in sport that I did want to give up because it was a really challenging time.
Yeah.
Again, those questions that I had that I just mentioned to you all. First of all, my dad's ego wasn't tied into my basketball career. He was okay. He was his own man, right? He was a military guy and he was doing his own thing. More good days than bad. Honestly, there were way more good days than I had bad days, right? So he was kind of like, hey, just last week you were on this super high because you did really well. You made the All-Star team, right? Like, that's great, right? So the setback that you had or the fact that you didn't get into the game as much as you wanted to, it's okay. Put it aside, right? And then finally, if I'd quit and the next year, I certainly would have felt bad because I had a lot of friends on that team. I had a lot of people that knew me outside of my playing abilities that I cared about, that I wanted to go to practice and be around. I knew that my coach really did care for me because he showed me that support. And so those are three important questions. But honestly, the most important one was the fact that my dad's ego was not tied up in it. So he was not pushing me in that sport for the wrong reasons.
So let's dive into a more specific instance, right? Let's say that it's not a question of quit versus not quit.
Right.
Let's start in, let's just say I go to my parents, I'm 12 years old. I go and say, hey, we're not winning at 12 years old.
Yeah.
We're not winning at the highest level. I want to go try out for a new team. I want to go play for this team that is winning at a higher level. What are the questions you ask? Because I think there's a lot more to it, and it goes back to establishing priorities at that age.
That's right.
And maybe they change from age 9 to age 14 or right before high school. But when you talk about that, what are some of those questions? Is it, hey, do you get along with your coaches? What do you feel like? Do you feel like you're developing as a player?
That's right. Yeah.
Because I think it's a very tough conversation to navigate. Because I remember there was a moment I think I was 8 or 9 years old, and I had been playing baseball for the Junior Salt Dogs, which is below select or one of those club teams. And after the season, my coach emailed my parents and said, hey, I've taught Nick everything he needs to. I can.
Yeah.
It's time for him to have a more competitive atmosphere.
I see.
And so that was kind of my parents' signal to go, okay, it's time for Nick to go play select baseball or go play club baseball, right?
Yes.
If you don't have a coach that does that,
right,
how do you navigate, okay, yeah, maybe it's time for a tougher environment or a more competitive environment, or also, you know what? Hey, he works out. It's going just fine for him.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that oftentimes, what that comes down to is, first of all, how do you feel being a part of that team? And I think that feeling of being a part of that team and whether or not that team has your best interest, especially that coach, and the coaches and the parents, to the extent that they can, need to be on the same page, right? And I think as a parent too, clearly we do have more experience than our young person. And we can kind of see where, hey, my child is really maxing out here. They need more challenge, right? And when we think about that opportunity, I think that if you're not being developed and you have all this upside, that's also an area where you could kind of look for other opportunities. You could supplement that through additional lessons that the young person can have. You can look at other opportunities, but truthfully, when everything's said and done, you have to be able to assess, where is my young person going to be able to grow the most, right? So essentially, we need to be able to find the best soil to plant our children. And I think that when you think of that soil, it has to be multifaceted, right? It's not just what you see, it's what's under the ground, which is, what are some other successes that this other team has had?
Yeah.
Do they fully develop their kids? My kids coming in, they're at this level of talent. what's the other talent on the team? Because sometimes our kids overemphasize how talented they are, right?
Sure.
So you have
And
to be able
sometimes
to
the
assess
parents
that.
do too.
That's absolutely right. And you might end up putting your young person on a team where you thought that they were so good, but they were so good because they were a very big fish in a small pond, right? And I think athletes always recognize that when they go from level to level, that there's probably always going to be somebody that's more talented than you, but that's not always what gets you and keeps you out there on the field. There's character, there's follow through, there's work ethic, all those different intangibles that parents can consistently be teaching their young person and encouraging them to grow in those areas that are going to help them be successful.
This is a very broad, generic question, and I kind of want to see you run with it. How do you teach your child to be a good teammate?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I think a lot of that starts in the household. How are you a good teammate in your family, right? When we think about that, we think about how much participation. It looks like there's just a touchdown.
That's what I'm talking about. It's hard not to get
It
distracted.
is. I mean, you get
Just
caught up.
house call.
Yeah, you see a little bit of celebration over here, right? I mean, I'm telling you guys, we've been sitting out here the whole day. I'm kind of wondering, like, is anyone going to score? So it looks like one of the teams just scored. So how do you teach someone to be a good teammate? It's all about, honestly, teammates and teamwork. It starts in practice because there's going to be tough times in practice where you're going to have to push yourself a little bit and you're going to have to work a little bit harder and you're going to have to really get that last rep in, right, and push yourself when the clock is counting down and everything else. And I think that does start in the household, right? Yeah. Give your kid chores to do. Allow them to be a great teammate in your family, right? Yeah. What's their responsibility in the household? And do they celebrate other things? Here comes a okay. All right. Wide,
a little off to the left.
wide left. But when we think about these things, it's how exactly can this young person contribute on the team at the house, and how can they be a great brother or sister? How can they be a good son or daughter, right? And I think those lessons, being able to really focus in on the times when they've done something successfully, and you can cheer for them, and they can cheer for you, and all these different areas, like being a good teammate applies to so many different parts of our life. Yeah. You're a good teammate everywhere you go. Like you go to a store and you see someone drop something and they're struggling to pick it up. You be a good teammate and you go help them pick it up, right? You have them volunteer. That's another way that you could teach your young person how to be a good teammate. Have them go and serve other people who need the support, right? These are all different ways you can teach them how to be a good teammate.
How much of it is putting them in and providing them an opportunity to be uncomfortable?
I think there's a lot of it that comes down to that, because we know in athletics, honestly, you're not really growing unless you're uncomfortable, right? Like, hey, you need to get out there and run run those laps, and you need to. So the power that we find in our ability to move forward in life is in the margins of pushing ourselves too hard, right? So and if you look at it from a biological perspective, what you also find is that there's certain ranges of where your heart rate is that you burn more fat, right? Yeah. It's not when you're just sitting around and doing nothing. It's when you get your BPMs up to a certain point at which that's where fat is burned. And that's the same way life is, metaphorically, is that we grow in those times that we're uncomfortable. And so I think that sometimes you do have to make your kids uncomfortable, right? You do have to get them up early in the morning and say, hey, come down here and help us clean this garage. And, oh, but no. Come down here and help us clean this garage. I know you don't want to do it, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it, right? And when it comes to athletics and pushing your body and your mind to that next level, it's all about getting through that initial resistance of, I don't want to do this.
Well, and I think that initial resistance, like you talked about, and then also understanding, trying to find beauty in the pain.
Yes.
Like there was, playing baseball at Pius, we weren't the biggest, strongest team because there's not as many to choose from in tryouts and things like that. So you had to find creative ways to win games. And so the way that we did that, and shout out to Coach Troy Sharp, because he's won 8-9 state championships because of this.
Wow.
Is that he figured out small balls the way. We're going to be menaces on the base paths. We're going to be able to bunt guys over. We're going to have unselfish at-bats. We're going to give ourselves up for the betterment of the team.
Yeah.
But in order to be able to execute that in games, we had to condition in practice and condition running and the drills and like mostly running.
Yes.
And I still remember some of those practices where there's ones that we'd call and we'd tag them as like Survivor Saturday. Saturdays were ones where it would be conditioning for a couple of hours, and in the moment it's like, gosh, is this really worth it? Do I really want to do it?
Right.
But then you realize in the game, like, oh, this is now easy,
Yes,
right? But like you
yes.
had to go through the uncomfortable situations on a random Saturday in the spring.
That's right.
When it could be snowing or when it could be pouring rain or cold and windy in Nebraska.
Yes.
And go, okay, this is all making it better for when we're playing the game, and it's the late inning, and you're sitting there going, oh, we've been here before. We've been in a tougher situation.
And honestly, and I can tell you this from being a young person and experiencing it, and you feel this way too, I'm sure, you probably didn't know that during that terrible practice.
Absolutely
You're probably
not.
trying to figure out, why is my coach doing this to me? Why? What is the point of this? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I could be doing something else. But instead, you're actually like putting yourself in a situation where when the time counts, you have that extra level of gear, right? And so, and I think that for our young people, as we teach them the importance, and, you know, this kind of goes back to the thing you were talking about regarding quitting and everything else, is that most of the time it is through those difficult things that we've survived that we find we are capable of doing more, right? And so I think sometimes, you know, again, you do want to ask those qualifying questions when it comes to that, but putting your young person through the paces in other ways, challenging them, allowing them to find that they are capable of doing more. That's how you really start to build that resilience and create that ability and mindset of how they can be a better teammate.
There was a time I was having a conversation with the Creighton baseball head coach, well, now retired Creighton baseball head coach. His name was Ed Service. And he had mentioned something. He was like, you don't never want to look back in something and say, I regret this.
Yeah.
Like you have to try, you have to get through everything. And I applied that to youth sports, and I applied that, but then I also applied it to everyday life.
Yes.
There's moments where I go, okay, you know what? I don't really want to experience this. Simple put, I was in New York for the bowl game, going up to the Empire State Building. It was like, all right, 83rd floor. I'm not trying. I don't want to go up there. But then I remember Ed Service, Coach Service telling us, hey, you don't want to look back and go, I should have done that.
That's right.
Or I wonder what would have happened if I would have experienced this.
Yes.
And at that moment, he was talking about whether or not to try to play college baseball or whether or not to try to continue to play college baseball. But I sat there and I go, Nick, you're going to get back to Lincoln, and you're going to go, dang it, Nick, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you experience that?
Yes.
And I feel like so much of that can be applied to youth sports, to where he also told us, and this is one of my favorite quotes, is no college coach is going to ask you, hey, what was your batting average when you were 12 years old? Same thing on this field right here.
That's right.
Matt Rule, if he goes out and recruits these guys in 4 years, he's not going to say, hey, how many tackles or interceptions did you have in 7th grade when playing on Lincoln Youth Football?
That's right.
Right now, that's where it goes back to priorities.
Yes.
It's the development and it's the life skills.
That's right. And the development and the life skills, those are the intangibles that coaches are looking for when you get to that next level, right? They want to understand that you've been a part of this on a weekly basis, that you did go out and play in some situations that were not the best situations, right? Because it's going to get colder in Nebraska as the fall goes on, and you're going to have to, lace up your cleats and come out here and play, and it's going to be rainy, and it's going to be cold, and it's going to be windy, and you're going to have to fight through it. You're going to have to deal with that. And I think that resilience that is built up and your understanding of doing hard and doing it even when you don't want to do it, that's what builds up that resilience and that ability for these young people. And so, again, we do see the statistics. We understand the importance of victory and the importance and the sweetness of victory, but it is not the goal, but it is in the deed, the glory, right?
There it
so,
is.
And I think that a lot of these young people out here that we get a chance to watch, they've got so many other things that they could be doing on a Sunday, but they're out here pushing themselves and they're challenging themselves, and they've got people that love them sitting on these sidelines out here rooting them on.
It's time for us to take a break. Nick Sainert here. Dr. Lawrence Chatters there as we continue this youth sports conversation. I think we can get into so much more. We only have about 30 minutes left of the program. So much more we can get into, though, talking high school. And there's a lot of parents of high schoolers listening, I'm sure, to where it's, hey, even if they're not involved in youth sports, how do you handle the adjustment period there? So when we come back, let's dive into that if you're able to stick around a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. There you go. Dr. Lawrence Chatters, Nick Sainert with you, Youth Football 101, powered by Edward Stone. We'll talk about that when we come back on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Bring new life to metal treasures with Kaiser Blasting and Coatings. From railings and fences to outdoor furniture and unique antiques, their expert team removes years of rust and weathering, then finishes each piece with a lasting powder coat. Trusted by industries across the region, now local homeowners and businesses can experience the same professional care. Visit KaiserBlasting.com or call 402-421-3559 to request your quote. Restore, protect, and make your metal shine like never before with the help of Kaiser Blasting and Coatings.
Gannett Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in Youth Football 101 here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Dr. Lawrence Chatters here for the first time this season at Youth Football matchups. And it's been the show has flown on by. 402-464-5685. The Starter Heyman text line is open for you guys. Somebody asked on the text line if we stream the games. We do not. There's a lot of other details that go into the streaming and the play-by-play of it as well. However, so we're here just watching from afar and sitting on the sidelines, supporting everybody here, the 8th graders, 6th graders, 7th graders, 4th graders, 5th graders. I said that in a really funky order, but I got them all in there. But either way, it's been a really fun day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the weather is just absolutely gorgeous out here today. The wind is blowing and you can hear the cicadas out here. And it's awesome. We're watching some young guys out here playing catch and just absolutely enjoying themselves. And, I think if you come out and you get a chance to watch your young person compete, it's awesome to watch some other people's young people compete too. And it's just been a great feel out here today.
They told us earlier in the show, like at 1:30, they told us that they had a line at the concession stand at 9:10 a.m. this morning.
Wow.
They said that so the games start at 10 a.m. is when the games start. A lot of these athletes have to be here an hour ahead of game time to warm up and stuff along the sidelines and things like that. But ultimately, line at the concession stand started at 9:10 a.m. and they told us that they sold out of taco meat and that they've done already double what they expect on a usual Sunday afternoon. In terms of burgers, brats, hot dogs, those types of things. And so it is a very, very popular Sunday activity. So highly recommend stopping on out here. And once again, I reiterate it again. You do not have to have a child out here playing. The chances are, since there's so many athletes out here, somebody, a family or family friends with a family that has a child that plays. You can come out and support them, but also just come on out here, stroll around, watch various games for an hour. Come on out here and hang out. And bring a lawn chair and sit right up next to the action and kind of see the future of really high school football in Nebraska. And as somebody that does broadcast games weekly, by the way, we will have 2 games on the ticket this week. Thursday night, we have Lincoln North Star action going on at Union Bank Stadium. And then on Friday, we will have Creighton Prep against Lincoln Southeast at Seacrest Field. So those are the 2 games that we'll have on our station. Elkhorn South is the team that plays Lincoln North Star on Thursday evening. Let's dive into high school because for the guys that are directly in front of us on the A field, the 8th graders field, they're going to experience this transition a lot more. But even if you're not in athletics, how do parents, guardians navigate the transition to high school from just middle school to then high school and the adjustments that take place there?
Yeah, so if you want to think about these transitions for folks out there, what I want you to think about is just what's going on with your young person between the ages of like 13, 14, some kids 14, 15, thinking about how challenging middle school can be, and just the dynamics of things that are shifting within a young person's social network and group, and just some of the things that are happening for them developmentally as well. And that's different for all young people. So this is going to be some advice that's really driven by the specifics of the individual that we're talking about. Sure. So you really have to look at your young person and again, establishing that they do feel in their own, sense that they have the ability to compel themselves forward, whether that be athletically or academically, right? That they have a good, solid foundation at home and support where they can feel safe, where they can feel like, if I come to my parents and talk to them about an issue that I have in my life, they're going to be able to help me work through that issue. Mm-hmm. You're basically creating that foundation for them to go outside of the household and be successful. And that starts in the household. But what I also want people to understand is that, and this is something you realize more and more, just think about how much time our young people spend outside of the house after they go on to high school and they start participating in sports and things like that. So you wake up in the morning, you get ready, we make you some waffles or a breakfast sandwich, send you out the door, and here you are in school all day. Then you go to practice after school or whatever the case might be, especially in the case of, football, right? You're having that football practice after school. Then on the weekends, Friday, you're going to have your game, right? Thursday or Friday, you're going to have your game. Then Saturday, most of the time it's back to practice, right? And it's hanging out with friends and everything else. That's why you have to create that good foundation in the household and really prepare your young person to deal with these issues and people and interactions outside of your house, because they're not going to be spending as much time with you. That's one of the big realizations that we had with our daughters when they got into high school, was that social component becomes so much more important.
And isn't that, but okay, so importance is key, is a key word. It's a good thing.
It is.
Right? Like,
it is.
Explain to that as it's a positive thing. It's a good thing that you have children that want to go experience things with friends.
Absolutely.
They're comfortable enough going outside of the house.
That social connection, those social connections are integral, because what that does is it allows your young person to go out and experience things with a net, right?
Yeah.
The net is always the home and the call home if they need support. I got a call last night. My daughter went to homecoming last night. She goes to Elkhorn South, by the way. So they won a big game against WS on Friday, right?
They did.
Roll Storm. So, but anyways, she calls me at 12:31 last night and says, Daddy, where's the license and registration? I got pulled over for my headlights being off, right? So we want our kids to go out and experience things, but we also have to pick up the phone when they call and say, and here's where the license and registration, right? So we send them out into the world to try things and experience things. And then hopefully we have a good enough, positive, open, and communicative relationship with them, where they come home and they say, this is what happened to me. This is what I did. And we can coach them, right? We are coaches of our children, right? And I think that's where, again, as we talk about what kids are getting from being in athletics and everything, we want it to be a positive experience, just like hopefully their relationship with you as a parent is a positive experience.
How do you value their opinions and the way that they feel like they should be running their lives, with also the blend of, I'm X amount years older than you are.
Yes.
You don't know a whole lot.
That's right. So Mark Twain has a quote. He says, at 14, I thought my dad was an idiot. At 21, I figured out that wasn't the case, right? So, we all have gone through this point. And honestly, what's happening is we talked back about this individual process, is that our young people's cognitive abilities are growing. Their executive function is developing. Young women's girls faster than boys, okay? Through those years, their minds are starting to make new connections, and they're developing at a very rapid level still, right? As they go through puberty and everything. So they're having all these hormones and stuff that impacts their ability to think. But what I can tell you is that clearly, and I know most of us parents, we can see the bigger picture, just like the coach can see the bigger picture, right? And so to the extent that you want to go to battle with your young person all the time about how they don't understand what's going to happen and everything else, sometimes you also have to let them go out in the world and fall and fail a bit. Right? Yeah. You have to give them that ability, because we can tell them as much as we want, hey, I'm not going to let you do this because I don't think it's going to be good for you. It's going to be a challenge, or whatever the case might be. For them to go out there and feel that failure and that challenge, that's going to teach them way more than us sitting at home trying to forecast them exactly what's going to happen.
It's kind of like the funny instances of a young child at home touching a burner. Like, where it's like, or a hot pan.
Yeah.
Do it once and they're not going to do it again.
They're like, hey, that was hot. I don't think I'm going to do that again.
But we can sit there until we're blue in the face and say, hey, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it. And until they actually do and experience that, they're not going to realize it.
That's right. And again, having some safety for your young people where you don't allow them to get too hurt, right? But I understand, the other thing is just that experience is a teacher in a way that, a lecture just can't do it any service, right? And I think that talking to our young people about being prepared, about being good people, being people of good character and everything else, oftentimes what's really neat is that when you send your child out into the world and they do interact with people, they do see the benefits of being a good person and being a respectful person and everything else, right?
I think also they see how, for a lot of young people, how fortunate they are to have the stable group at home.
Absolutely.
Like a stable home front is really, really positive, because I can speak it as somebody that just went through college and is now working, is out in the world.
Yes.
It's like, what? The ability for somebody that's, later in life, 16 to 21, the ability to say, okay, you know what, when things do get a little crazy,
Yep.
I know that I can either call home or I can drive home, and for a little bit you get to just say, okay, you know, we're in that safety net.
Yes.
That's just to know that that's there.
Yes.
Is very comforting.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, I mean, as a parent of a young woman who's 20 right now and a junior in college, and then my youngest daughter is 17, she's a senior, you know, finding that balance of being able to really provide support to, you know, your young person in a way that is intentional, and also that they can appreciate what they're getting from you. Like, it's a kind of push and pull, right? Like, we're not always going to say the right thing. Sometimes, you know, we're a little, you know, we could be a little heavy-handed with our, you know, well, you should have done this or you should have done that. But what I can tell you is that you don't want your young person to just turn off and not tell you anything. And I think that that's one of the big things I have to tell parents, is that you continue to lecture, you continue to tell them how you do it. If they were you, and this, that, and the other, I mean, your young person's going to turn you off, right? And they're just going to say, you know what, I don't want to tell my parent that I'm struggling, because I don't think they're going to allow me to maybe make the decision that I want to make.
And it goes back to the pressures that we talked in this show has kind of gone full circle to where we bring it back to athletics.
Yes.
If the child knows that after a loss, they're going to get into the car and get lectured about how they didn't play hard enough, or they didn't try, or whatever it is, or he should have practiced harder this week, or whatever the case may be, they're not going to want to get into that car. They're going to shut down once they get there.
That's right. And I think that just think about how not fun it is to lose, number one. But then to lose,
nobody really wants to.
Nobody wants to lose, right?
Yeah, guess what? I lost.
That's right. It's never fun. But then to lose and then also come into the car and lose again.
Yeah.
Right. And I want parents to think about
That's a crazy way. I mean, that's a really, really smart way. I say crazy in a positive way, because it's like it's a very helpful way to think.
Yes,
about
it is, right? Like, we want to be the support for our young people, and they feel bad already. You know that, because they want it to win. Hopefully they have the will to win and the drive to win. But when they come to you and they're seeking that love and support, don't let them lose again.
And they also don't want to let you down.
That's
as
right.
Parents. Like,
Absolutely.
Think about that, to where it's there's a lot of kids that say, you know what, more so than winning on a field or on the floor or whatever it is, or getting the lead in a play or whatever it could be.
Right.
It's just, I don't want to disappoint mom and dad.
That's
I don't want
right.
to disappoint grandma and grandpa.
That's right.
And so then to sit there and say, you know, after a loss, they're probably concerned about that, even if you have a positive reinforcement system.
Yes.
So to get in the car and then have you either say, hey, you should have done this, then it's, oh man, I disappointed them.
That's right.
But then to be able to build them back up is a pretty cool thing.
It is. And what I can tell you all is, as a counseling psychologist, what I can tell you is that this does have a long-term impact on these people. Okay. I still deal with clients, you know, as when I was practicing, that still talk about the difficulty of going to their parents with failure and struggling with how their parents reacted and how tied up their parents were in things that they themselves had control over. So they felt they had no control because their parents were so concerned with how they did, and it didn't make it enjoyable for them, right? It's not like your young person is like, oh, I'm just so happy when mom and dad yell at me for not doing great in the game, right? Like, they have enough things to worry about. So temper your reaction and manage your feelings of how you're feeling about yourself and what that performance of your young person means to everyone else about you, because that's where we get caught up in that negativity.
I think a perfect way to close out this show in the last segment is to talk about the lasting effects. How can parents, we talk return on investments in athletics. There is some things that you can point to and look at and say, okay, yep, as a parent, as a couple, we got return on our investment from our child in how they live out their lives daily. Let's talk about that, because the lasting effect, basically, you just mentioned a negative way.
Yes.
But how about the positive side of things? Let's do that when we come back. We'll close out the show. Nick Sainert, Dr. Lawrence Chatters, Rudy back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios, pushing all the buttons. It's Youth Football 101, sponsored by Edward Stone here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you can save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor. We want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to SmokingGunJerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One final time here, Lincoln Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Dr. Lawrence Chatters alongside. Thanks to Rudy and Harrison back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. Okay, we talked lasting effects to close out that last segment of just having a support system. You mentioned some of the negative ones, that there can be some negative effects if they don't have a support system at home. Let's talk positive to end the show. We always look for return on investment.
Absolutely.
As parents, what are some things that you can see and look at throughout different stages in life that say, okay, you know what, we're doing okay?
Yeah. So some things that you can look for first and foremost is just, again, make sure that you are paying attention to the relationship that you have with your young person as they participate in that particular sport, right? So just how it feels like when they're done competing. Are you excited regardless of what the outcome is? Are they having a good time? Are they having a positive experience? Are you seeing that they're learning and they're growing? What are you seeing at home, right? Some changes as they participate in team sport and different things of that nature. And again, I think being a good teammate at home is important too, right? Also looking for the relationship building component. What relationships are they building, and how are they starting to understand the dynamics of relationships through hardship, right? There's nothing that teaches you like losing with your friends and having to survive through that and having the bonds to fall back on, right? You can think back on some of those bus rides back from the losses where you got closer with some guys because you all got together and you decided we're going to do better next time, right? That's an important lesson as well. But when it comes to just some of the intangibles that come from participating in sport in general, if any of us think about our professional lives, we are part of teams in our professional lives, right? We have to do our particular job well, and we have to really fight for the victories that the company has overall, and you're a teammate, you're a team member. So I think those are some of those other return on investments that I've seen. And honestly, some of the best memories I think that a lot of people have growing up are just their parents being there and showing their commitment and their presence in their life. And I think that as you talked about this earlier, and this is one of the basic level things that we can do is show up, right? Show up, be there in the space. Even if you can be there for a little bit of time and you get there for the end of the game or the beginning of the game or whatever, we know that life gets in the way sometimes, but just show up for your kids and show them that you care, that they are pushing themselves and participating in. And again, some parents are out there, they have to be at work so they can pay for their kids to participate. There's a lot of this comes at a cost. But just showing up. And I think that demonstration of the importance of you committing yourself as a young person doing that athletics and your parent coming to see you, that means a lot.
I think a lot of it was centered around communication.
Yes.
If you can't be there, let them know.
Let them know.
Let them know, hey, this is why I can't be there.
Absolutely.
I think because we don't give maybe sometimes young people as much credit as we should for being as smart as they are.
That's right. And noticing the things that are happening around them.
Because the world just exposes them, whether you want it or not. Like the term, you can try to shelter and keep the all the negative, bad outside of it.
That's right.
Outside the household, away from them.
Yep.
But it's going to happen. It's
That's
going
right.
to seep into our daily lives. And so giving them credit to say, okay, you know what, I can have this adult conversation with you and say, hey,
yes,
mom and dad, we can't be there today.
That's right.
But this is why. It's
That's
not because
right.
we don't want to be.
Yes, exactly. And I think that, here's the thing. They may not see you at every game, but they are going to see someone else's parent at every game, right? And so just being able to explain, and again, sometimes our young people, because they're still developing cognitively, they don't understand why, right? They don't understand that mom needs to work, and so therefore she works during the time that your games are. She can never come to a game. However, we can talk to mom together about what that game was like, and hopefully it can be a positive experience, right? Absolutely. So there's all these different pieces that fit together, and I just think that honestly, like you said, so many people are doing this the right way, and that's the thing that I really want to end on and highlight, is that there's so many people that are committed to doing things the right way. And as I sit out here and I get to see all these young people, I know all these young all these people that are walking out on the field right now, they have a story. They have someone who's behind them, supporting them. They have a team around them that cares about them. They feel like they're doing something, and it's something special. And I think athletics provides that opportunity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. He's Dr. Lawrence Chatters, Nick Sainert here. Harrison Arns, Rudy back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios. Can't thank them enough. As usual, thank you to Jim Sandman, Mike Selvage, the entire crew from Lincoln Youth Football for allowing us to come on out here for 2 hours. Dr. Chatters, always welcome back, my friend.
It's been awesome.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Can't thank you guys enough. Enjoy the rest of the program and make sure you tune in every single Sunday right after Youth Football 101 for the Law of Lift from 3 to 5 p.m. with Dr. Lawrence Chatters himself and his long list of great guests that he's had over the last couple of weeks and he's going to have in the very near future. Come on out here at some point. Come enjoy a Lincoln Youth Football matchup from the Lincoln Youth Football fields. This has been Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket, powered by our friends at Edward Stone. We'll talk to you next Sunday, 1 to 3, right here on The Ticket.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret